because our Dr. Emmanuel is he is having some technical problems. He was informed me. Dr. Anjun, please go through our agenda. Hello.
Yes,
Dr. Anjum, hello. Can you please follow that our agenda?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you can start now.
Okay. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I welcome you all for the third day of the Global Great Peace Conference 2023. And this is a conference which actually seeks to promote global peace around the world. So today, the session that we have, it will be consisting of two sessions, the startup session and the second session. Opening session will be starting with the presentation, and then we'll be having the speech of introduction and welcome for our honorable chief guest. And then the chief guest will be delivering his speech. After the speech of the honored our chief guest, the guest speakers will be given 2 minutes, just 2 minutes to express their views. And after that, we'll be starting with the second session, where all the guest speakers can express their opinions. And this is in short about the session that we'll be having today. And once again, I welcome the speakers who are joining with us. Once again, I welcome you all. And now can we start with the presentation? We have a short presentation. We just start it now. So thank you, everyone. That was really good thing. And yes, ma'am, do you permit, can we start with our session?
Next.
Yes. So once again, I welcome you all the speakers, or the listeners who have joined the platform.
Dr. Anjum, your voice is not clear. It's low, I think. I can't hear well.
Okay, give me a minute. Now I'm audible?
Hello?
Yes.
Now, I think
After the chief guest joined.
Chief just said that I understand. I tried to contact him. I think he has a signal problem or any problem, technical problem. I couldn't. I tried to contact him. I couldn't.
Okay, so can we start?
So I will start my welcoming speech. Okay, shall I start it?
Okay, now just give me a minute. So I welcome once again all the speakers. And yes, of course, I would like to welcome the chairperson of the Global United for Peace and Justice, Dr. Syed Firdaus B. Hamidardin, ma'am, from Sri Lanka. And ma'am, please start with your welcoming speech.
Yeah. Dear Honorable guests and great speakers, I am Dr. Syed Firdaus B. Hamidardin from Sri Lanka. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and Assalamu alaikum, and have a great day to you all. The globe, we are pleased to announce to you that our global Great Peace Conference 2023 has been successfully held for 6 hours on 2 Saturdays so far, regardless of weather or technical abstracts. And the only determination of all of us gathered together to spread peace to the entire world and move towards a free, happy, and a prosperous world. Welcome to all the guests and guest speakers who have admitted today's conference. We also welcome our chief guest, but he is absent. So I'm sorry to say. He's our professor Baba Lola from Nigeria. I think he will come. He will participate. I am believe. It is unfortunate that day by day in the world, in different countries, problematic issues are emerging in the way. Such problems arise because of the greed for power and attempt to extend one dominance and the powerless those in power and disseminate societies and crises due to the will occur. Those crises grow day by day and turn into riots and war situation. Due to the extension of riots and war conditions, the people living in those premises have to face crisis situations in big way. Infrastructural facilities such as poverty and hunger and affected. Not only that, because there are chances of the malnutrition, deformities, and even loss of lives also. Let's look at the world. Due to the war in Ukraine, Russia has been reported to have a large number of displaced people. We all know that innocent people are suffering because of the inhuman process being carried out in Nigeria too. Due to the Jammu Kashmir crisis, the living people are suffering a lot of harassment and the loss of life too. It is sad that such a large loss of life and property is caused by an inhuman process. That is why human destruction is a very low process as well as an inhuman act. Today, our 7 guest speakers participated and topics will participate. The topics are only 2 topics are there: Jammu Kashmir conflict and xenophobic brutalist Sudan. a speaker is allocated 12 to 15 minutes. I request the fraternity not to take any more time than that. I would like to point out that in some countries, since this time is night, it is an injustice to use the time to spend the night time and to receive guest speakers. That's why I request you to spend the allocated time in a specific manner and to conduct the lectures and never try to take too much of time. Good luck to you all. May world peace prevail. Thank you very much. Best of luck.
Yes, thank you very much, ma'am. Yes, of course, as you said, yes, we have to work for peace. We have to promote peace in the world. And then, like we are talking about so many situations, so many incidents that are going on in the world, and especially the war-like situations when they're erupting. So it is not only the two countries, but the rest of the world that is getting affected. So let us start with the speakers today. And as said, yes, of course, we have 10 to 12 minutes to speak. Every speaker has been allotted. And please maintain the time limits because we have the time constraints and we have people joining in from different countries. And of course, we have the time differences over there. So let me start here. Okay, so let me start from Melissa, ma'am. Melissa Esposito, ma'am, come in, please.
Hello, I'm here.
Yes, ma'am. Please start.
Okay. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. I'm very happy to be here and to be a speaker for this important event. I'm Melissa Esposito, a teacher in high school, and I live in Italy. I am Italian. Let's speak about xenophobic violence in Sudan, 2023. Let's begin. At least 500,000 people remain in refugee camps in Darfur, 2 decades after bloody conflict erupted between Sudan's Arab-dominated government and rebel groups in the country's western region. For many displaced people, there is no home to return to. Some have seen their villages razed to the ground. Others say that their homes are now occupied by Arab tribes. Conditions are difficult in the camps, with malnutrition rampant and international agencies forced to cut back on their aid to cut funding. The war in Darfur has historical roots, years of marginalizations of non-Arab tribes by Khartoum policies, leading to growing discontent. Matters came for a head on February 26, 2003, when a new rebel group calling itself the Darfur Liberation Front, DLF, later renamed the Sudan Liberation Movement Army as ALMA, publicly claimed the responsibility for an attack on a military base in Golo, the main city on the Jebel Mara district. This rebel group and the Justice and Equality Movement have launched a rebellion against the Sudanese government's contempt for the Western region and its non-Arab population, and to claim power sharing within the Sudanese government state by former General Omar al-Bashir. And it was the latter who armed and supported the Arab militias known as Janjaweed, literally devils on horseback. Referring to themselves as the People's Defense Forces, they have worked alongside the Sudanese government forces to not kill insurgents, but have perpetrated violence to systematically annihilate the region's ethnicities. African Fur, Masalit, and Zagwawa, where members and the groups came from armed. Attacks on communities, entire villages destroyed, killing and rapes. War crimes and crimes against humanity for which former President Bashir and the leaders of the militia are wanted by the International Criminal Court, which has also issued an arrest warrant for genocide, charged then frozen. Despite the 2004 ceasefire and the subsequent deployment of African Union troops, by 2007 the conflict and the resulting humanitarian crisis has caused the death of 300,000 people and displaced 2.5 million people, according to the United Nations figures. Subsequent mediation efforts in Abuja 2006, Tripoli 2007, and Doha 2009 have failed to bridge the gap between Khartoum and Darfur's armed opposition groups. In July 2007, the United Nations Security Council authorized a joint peacekeeping mission. After its retirement in 2019, abuses by local armed groups, including involving state security forces, escalated again. In August 2020, a comprehensive peace deal was signed between the Sudan transitional government formed after 2019 overhaul of the al-Bashir and JM. The agreement stipulated that the two former rebel groups would join to the transition democracy in Sudan. Despite this, continued to target civilians without any government intervention. West Darfur in particular has suffered several major attacks since early 2021. Hundreds of people have been killed and tens of thousands displaced. The World Food Programme reported last year that 65% of West Darfur population is food insecure, the highest levels in all of Sudan. According to Human Rights Watch, neither Sudan's transition government nor current military leaders have meaningfully addressed the underlying causes of the violence in Darfur, including marginalizations and disputes over control and access to land and resources natural. These failures have once again contributed to escalation of violence against civilians, Human Rights Watch said. A silent genocide that never ended, but despite this, the World Organization for Migration continues to repatriate those who tried to flee to Libya, to this land of massacre and pain. It complained that as focus on Africa, we address not only to the joint, but to the many international organizations complicit in these atrocious violations of human rights. Since 2003, civilians in Sudan have been subjected to extreme violence following the attacks by armed opposition groups. Sudanese government forces responded by targeting not only combatants, but also civilian populations of some ethnic groups demanded by the government to be supportive of the insurgents. Amnesty International said today. These consistent strategies which the government continues to implement has resulted in an excruciating amount of death, destruction, and displacement. Hundreds of thousands of civilians have been killed and countless more have suffered from hunger, dehydration, and disease. Hundreds of villages have been destroyed. Innumerable livelihoods have been ruined. Rapes, other sexual violence against women and girls were frequent. In 2016, Amnesty International documented how government forces used chemical weapons against civilians in the Jebel Mara region of Darfur. The ongoing attack included armed killings, beating, sexual assaults, looting and burning of villages. The government has yet not to demonstrate that it is willing or able to protect civilians or all the perpetrators accountable. Sudanese government forces and members of the FSR are responsible for initiating the conflict, during which government-affiliated military groups also targeted civilians. And what can we say about a few days ago? Foreign governments evacuated diplomats, staff, and others from Sudan on Sunday, on the last Sunday. As rivals, generals battled for a neat day with no signs of a truce that has been declared for a major Muslim holiday. While world powers like the USA and Britain air flighted their diplomats from the capital Khartoum, Sudanese, desperately sought to flee the chaos. Many risked the dangerous roads to cross the northern borders into Egypt. We did not see such a truce. Emin El-Tayed said from his home near States TV headquarters in Omdurman, adding the evil gunfire and thundering explosions rocked the city. Over 420 people, including 264 civilians, have been killed over 3,000 wounded in fighting between the Sudanese armed forces and the powerful paramilitary group known as the Rapid Support Forces, or RSF. European Union Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell tweeted he had spoken with the rival commanders, urging an immediate ceasefire to protect civilians and the evacuation of European citizens. In other fighting, a senior military official said it repelled and RSF attacks on Kobel prison in Khartoum, where Sudan's longtime ruler Omar Bashir and former officials in his movements have been held since his 2019 ouster. The official who spoke on condition of anonymity because he was not authorized to talk to the media, said the number of prisoners freed about al-Bashir and other 5 profiles in inmates were in a high secure area, adding that a few prisoners were killed or wounded. It's possible that infrastructures has been damaged or sabotaged, said the NetBlocks director Al Tucker. This will have a major effect on residents' ability to stay safe and will impact to the evacuation programs that are ongoing. After a week of bloody battles that hindered the rescues, our special forces swiftly evacuated as embassy staffers from Khartoum to Ethiopia early Sunday. Although the American official said it was too dangerous for a government-coordinated evacuation of thousands of private citizens, other countries scrambled to remove their citizens as well as their diplomats. For example, France and Italy said that they would accommodate all their citizens who want to leave, as well as those of other countries who could not otherwise join in an evacuation operation. French President Emmanuel Macron and his foreign minister were given security guarantees by both sides for the evacuation, according to the French and foreign minister officials who spoke on conditions of anonymity because they weren't authorized to talk publicly. 2 French flights took off a few days ago from Khartoum to Djibouti, carrying about 200 people from various countries, and more were planned the other days, according to another French military official speaking, and mostly under the same rules. Italy's defense ministry said 2 airplanes landed at Khartoum airport to airflight evacuees, including those from other European countries, to a military base in Djibouti in the Gulf of Aden, and another flight was planned on the next days. Other flights from Sudan were organized by Jordan, Spain, Germany, Greece, and then the Netherlands. Britain Prime Minister Rishi Sunak tweeted that UK armed forces evacuated British diplomatic staff and dependents aimed a significant escalation in violence and threats. Overland through the contested area was possible but dangerous. Khartoum is about 840 kilometers from Port Sudan on the Red Sea. During the month of April, Saudi Arabia said it evacuated 155 people, including 91 Saudi nationals and citizens out of other countries. Saudi State TV showed a large convoy of cars and buses from Khartoum to Port Sudan, where a Navy escape took them to the Saudi port of Jeddah. Fighters attacks on embassy convoy last week consumed the home of European ambassador. Violence wounded an Egyptian embassy employee in Sudan, according to Egypt's foreign ministry spokesman Ahmed Zaid. the power struggle between Sudanese military led by Gen Burhan and the air force led by General Mohammed Dagalo, as that an harsh blow to Sudan hopes for a democracy transition. The rival generals came to power after a pro-democracy uprising led to the ouster of the former strongman al-Bashir. In 2021, the generals joined the forces to seize power in a coup. The current violence came after Burhan and Dagalo fell out over a recent internationally brokered deal with the democracy activists that was meant to incorporate the RSF into the military and eventually led to civilian rules. Both generals, each claiming international legitimacy, have accused the others of obstructing democracy. The Sudanese military alleged the RSF opened fire on a French convoy warning a French national. The RSF countered it came under attack by warplanes and as a French citizens, and diplomats left the embassy for Omdurman, saying the military strikes endangered the lives of French nationals. Hospital is struggled as the violence rages. Many wounded and are stranded by the fightings. An Italian medical group emergency said 46 of its staff refused to leave, working in hospitals in Khartoum, Nyala, and Port Sudan. Thousands of Sudanese have fled Khartoum and other hotspots, according to the United agencies, but millions are sheltering in homes from explosions, gunfire, and looting without adequate electricity, food, or water. Khalid Omar, a spokesman for the pro-democracy bloc that seeks to restore civilian rule, urged both generals to solve their differences. There is an opportunity to stop this war and put the country on the right path. Vote on Facebook. This is a war fueled by groups from the opposite regime who want it to continue. And I end my speech because it is too long. There are too many things to think about, to say about these bad war and xenophobic violence in Sudan. Thank you for listening to me, and thank you for the opportunity you gave me to be a speaker in this important event. Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you, Melissa Ma'am. It was really a great talk. And yes, of course, as you said, the time that you 10 to 10 minutes was sometimes insufficient to express that. Of course, we have to follow the time constraints. And thank you for joining. It was really a very great talk. And with this, I would like to call upon another, the next speaker, another speaker. This is Kokila Guru Kandura Ma'am. Mrs. Kokila Ma'am, please. Are you there in the meeting? Kokila Ma'am? Kokila Ma'am, are you there? I hope I'm audible.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Can I hear you? Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So I am Kokila Hemamali Guru Kandara from Sri Lanka. So today I'm going to present another major war that was affected in Asia, that is Jammu Kashmir war. So this is a literature survey, literature research. So now I'm going to present my presentation, what I'm going to do. Okay, right, wait. Sorry, wait. Wait, I want to see this. Sure. Wait. Right. Right. Can you see my screen? Hello. Can you see? Yeah.
Yes.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes, that
Is it clear? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Jammu and Kashmir conflict. Okay. Then, so how this? Oh, sorry. Right. Jammu and Kashmir is located between. Wait, sorry. Is located between Pakistan and India, and side by you can see there's a China too here. Then I want to introduce my presentation. The conflict started after the partition of India in 1947. You all know India it is a very large area, so it was under control by the British people. So the conflict started after the partition of India in 1947. As both India and Pakistan, it is claimed the entirety of the former princely state of Jammu and Kashmir. The Indo-Pakistan War of 1947 to 1948, or the first Kashmir War, was a war fought between India and Pakistan over the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir from 1947 to 1948. It was the first of four Indo-Pakistan war between the two newly independent nations. Actually, this in India and Pakistan is newly created by it is existing in the one land. It was existed in the one land, but after the liberation from the Western people, they partitions into several countries. India, Pakistan, Nepal, like that. There are many few countries split each other. When Pakistan participated the war a few weeks after the independence by launching Triple Lakshya, that means militias from Westarians in an effort to capture Kashmir and prevent the possibility of its ruler joining India. The inconclusive result of the war still affects the geopolitics of both countries. Okay, then the Jammu and Kashmir was facing an uprising by his Muslim subjects in Poonach and lost control of western districts of his kingdom. On 22nd October in 1947, Pakistan's first triple militancies crossed the border of the state. That is the first instance which is caused to the beginning this war. These local tribal militants and irregular Pakistani forces moved to the take and capital city of Singra. But upon the reach in Baramulla, they took to the plunder and the state. Maharaja Hari Singh made prayer to India for assistance and help was offered, but it was subject to the singing of the instruments of the association to India. The war was initially fought by the Jammu and Kashmir state forces and by militias from the frontier tribal areas adjoining the northwest frontier province. So this followed the accession of the state to India on 26 October in 1947. The Indian troops were airlifted to the state capital. British Commodity Offense initially refused the entry of the Pakistan troops into the conflict, citing the accession of the state of to India. But later in 1948, what happened? The talented and Pakistani's armies entered the war shortly afterwards. Okay, the front solidified gradually along the later came to be known as the line of control. A formal ceasefire was declared effective in 1st January 1949. So this is the short introductions I gave you. The objectives of this research I am going to present you. It is a history of Jammu and Kashmir, the reasons of the beginning of the war. Then I want to find out the reasons for social issues and environmental issues, economical issues regarding this war, and how this manages both countries, right? And peace talks, that means involvements of other countries for this war, the positive involvements and negative involvements. Negative involvements means the who persuade this war to carry out furthermore, right? So negative, that is a negative involvement. Positive involvements means the people who wants to stop this war, and to, that means they want to stop this war. That means they can human beings, the assassinations of human beings, killing human beings. They stop that one. Then, and ultimately, I want to focus the what are the lessons given to the world from this one. So those are the things I am going to focus in this my research in this my research. So I am very hurried to leaving from the meeting because in my home situation is not good in this at the moment because my uncle is hospitalized, so I want to go there. So now he is going to take the surgery, immediate surgery. So I want to leave from you. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. It was really a great presentation from your side. And of course, it was really a great presentation. And with this, I would like to just call upon the next speaker. This is the next speaker, Professor Dr. Chittu So Charles, Professor of Human Rights from Nigeria. Sir, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, sir. Please start with your presentation.
Yeah, my name is Professor Chukwunonso Charles of Fordham. I will be speaking on the same topic the last speaker has spoken. But I think I will speak in another dimension for people's understanding. First of all, I have to introduce Kashmir conflict. You know, when you talk about conflict, you know it is a disagreement between one or two people, or when 2 or 3 people do not agree on a particular thing. Most time it always leads to war. Actually, I'll first of all refer the audience to my theory that I propounded in conflict, which is called psychosocial individuality theory or icon theory. It was named after my nickname, which is icon theory or psychosocial individuality theory. It is talking about a conflict between 2 or more people, and it equally stated the origin of conflict, which is, for instance, if you are talking in a unit aspect of it, like family, when Mr. A and Mr. B will have issue, instead of them to resolve it, that means to settle the conflict within them, then in that family now, for instance, let me just say the mother of Mr. A and and the mother of another Mr. B will have issues. Instead of them to settle it amicably, they will not settle it. Then that particular person has to go to his own family. The Mr. A, sorry, the Mrs. A will go to the family and start spreading about the conflict. As a matter of fact, you know, in any family, once a mother or a father brings an issue of conflict, nobody in that family will be okay with the conflict. So what do they do? Once the issue of conflict is brought, then they will all be aggrieved. So in that my conflict theory is saying that once you have any issue with anyone, that you shouldn't bring it to any of your loved ones, that you should try to settle it amicably, because what matters in conflict is management. How do you manage the conflict? How do you settle the conflict? How do you build the conflict? That's what matters in conflict. Then I will relate it with the particular topic we have today, which is Kashmir conflict. The Kashmir conflict is a territorial conflict over the Kashmir region, primarily between India and Pakistan, and also between China and India in northern eastern portion of the region. The conflict started after the partition of India in 1947, as both India and Pakistan claimed the entirety of the former Prince of Jammu and Kashmir. It is a dispute over the region that escalated into 3 wars between India and Pakistan and several other armed skirmishes. India controls approximately 55% of the land area of the region that includes Jammu, the Kashmir Valley, most of Ladakh, the Siachen Glacier, and 70% of its population. Pakistan controls approximately 30% of the land area that includes Azad Kashmir and Gilgit, Baltistan, and China controls the remaining 15% of the land area that includes the Aksai Chin region, the mostly uninhabited Trans-Karakoram tract, and part of the Destruct sector. So herein, I shall be asking some questions and I'll be answering those questions in order to bring the topic home. First of all, what is issue between Kashmir and Jammu? The conflict started after the partition of the India in 1947, as both India and Pakistan claimed the entirety of the former princely state of the Jammu and Kashmir. It is a dispute over the region that escalated with 3 wars between India and Pakistan and several other armed skirmishes. What is the religion of Jammu and Kashmir? The predominant religion of Kashmir Valley is Islam. Muslims constitute more than 90% of total population of Jammu and Kashmir. Even in Jammu, Kagi, and some other districts, Islam forms a substantial part of the population. The Muslims are broadly divided into 2 sects, the Sunnis and Shias. The second question goes like this: how did the Kashmir become part of India? By executing an instrument of accession under the provision of the Indian Independence Act 1947. Maharaja Hari Singh agreed to accede his state to the Dominion of India. On 27th October 1947, the then Governor General of India, Lord Mountbatten, accepted the accession. The next question: what was the Kashmir War between India and Pakistan? The Indo-Pakistani War of 1947 to 1948, or the First Kashmir War, was a war fought between India and Pakistan over the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir from 1947 to 1948. It was the first of the four Indo-Pakistani. It was the first of the four Indo-Pakistani wars between the two newly independent nations. Another question, is Kashmir part of the India or Pakistan? Today, the term encompasses a larger area that includes the India-administered territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, the Pakistan's administered territories of Azad, Kashmir, and Gilgit-Baltistan, and the Chinese administered territories of Aksai Chin and the Trans-Karakoram Tract. Another question again, which is last. What happened to Jammu and Kashmir now after the Indo-Pakistani War of 1947 to 1948? The princely state of Jammu and Kashmir was divided between India, which controlled the region of Jammu, Kashmir Valley, and Ladakh, Pakistan, which controlled Gilgit, Baltistan, and Azad Kashmir. So what matters in conflict is not even a matter of you discussing or saying what conflict happens on this, or this what happened. What matters is how do you build conflict, as I stated ab initio, with the aim of my theory that was provided by me in 2016 when I was doing my postgraduate course in my peace studies after I studied law. So, because after discussing a conflict, then without bringing a solution, it's of no use. The aim of this conference is for us to bring a solution so that what has happened will never happen again. If we laugh and share love and forgive each other, there will be nothing like conflict in our life. But what matters is once something happens, people will not forgive each other. There's no love, and they would like you to escalate by telling their loved ones, extending to their family members, extending to their friends and family. That is what brings more about conflicts. That's exactly what my theory is talking about. My theory states that if you keep doing that, you are escalating the conflict. But the situation whereby the conflict is being managed, is being built, is being settled, is being made, it is better, and it will make us to stay in a polite, peaceful world. So I urge all the listeners and all the speakers to please kindly and harmoniously accept my advice. It will make us, and equally extend it to others. If anyone who does not understand can still proceed to Google and Google my conflict. Psychosocial individuality conflict by Ofodun Chukwunonso Charles icon. You will see it, you can still read it and know more about the conflict. And know more about the solution. That's the most important thing. Because after speaking all the grammars or speaking English without the solution is of no use. I shall briefly discuss some solutions to conflicts.
Yes, sir.
One of the solutions, what do we call love? Love is when we were able to help each other and when we are able to forgive each other. When we don't escalate issues or conflict when it happens, so that it will not bring war. So it's forgiveness, being able to accept and to forgive others. 3, building peace. Building peace is out of you managing when the peace has happened. It tries not to extend it. You build peace, you make peace. Then the last aspect of it, which is very important, is that my theory is advising all the countries of the world to establish or to introduce an education piece that's called peace education, from your primary school to the tertiary institution, which educate them how to make peace, how not to escalate peace, so that we live in a peaceful way. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
I'm done
sir.
with you.
I hope you are finished. Thank you very much, sir. It was really a great presentation, great talk by you. And any more speakers left? Just announce the names, Dr. Emmanuel, Abdul Manin, sir, and Dr. Nureen Akram. Is anyone present in the meeting?
Dr. Naren was informed me. See, her area is having a problem due to the storm, so that's why she can't join the conference. She was already informed me.
Yes, okay. So any more speakers for today?
We'll take other one.
Yes, ma'am. Because I think all the speakers were there in the list. We have finished with some 3 to 4 of them. The rest of them are not seen.
I sent all name for you, I think.
Yes, I have the list. Abdul
Yeah.
Muin, Prasad, and Mrs. Kokila. She has presented. Dr. Emmanuel, then Chuku Vunaso from he has also spoken. Dr. Ruti, Dr. Nureen
Dr.
Akram, she's not coming.
Sulaiman Quraisi.
Yes,
Dr. Sabah Sulaiman Quraisi.
Let me check if he's
Is he
there.
entered or not?
Now he's not there, but earlier he had joined. But now I can't see him.
Dr. Sulaiman Quraisi, Nazir Quraisi.
No, ma'am, that is my that is my device. I have joined from 2 devices.
Dr. Nazir Quraisi.
Ma'am, that is my device itself. I have joined from 2 devices. That is my device itself, Nazir Qureshi. Dr. Sulaiman Qureshi is not there in the meeting.
I think all are. Wait, I check. Dr. Emmanuel is just now left. He's a presenter, but he is having a problem. Oh yeah. So all presenters are over, I think.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
The presentations are over.
Shall we call our Dr. Honorable Ravishankar Kumar?
Let me check if he is there, because he said he's traveling, so he will be joining, but he has not sent a message. Ravishankar sir, are you there in the meeting? I think
Yeah, I can. Main host. I thought the ignition dream.
Yes, the host is there. But I
Yeah.
think someone else might be controlling it because Ravi Shankar sir, I messaged him. He is on the way. He is somewhere else. I think he said he was traveling, so he will join later. But I haven't received any other message from him that he has reached.
Okay, dear.
He said he will
So
reach his place and then he will join.
I think then now all our speakers are submitted their presentation, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Our Emmanuel came just a few minutes ago, but now I can't find out him.
Yeah.
He was informed us.
Yes.
So now we can over the meeting, isn't it?
Okay. We can end the session then.
Yeah, dear, because all presentations are over. So we'll till I searching. Okay, dear. All presenters are, I think. So to Dr. Naren and Dr. Emmanuel is absent. Otherwise, the one of the crazy. He also crazy, but he is absent. I think 3 persons are absent.
Yes.
But Emmanuel and Dr. Norin, they already inform us. They are having a problem. But that crazy one of the I forget his full name. He's absent.
Yes, Sir Suleiman Page.
Yeah, dear Selvik. Okay, we can close over the conference now. So, my dear friends, guests and all speakers, we wish to thank you all for a participation. Our one of my office friend, he also participating in this conference as a guest. Can you do you like to talk a few words, Mr. Veeravanni? Hello, Mr. Veeravanni, are you here? Hello, Mr. Veeravanni.
No, he's not there in the meeting.
Can you hear me?
No, he's not there.
Oh, no. No. His name is Priyavansa Desapriya. I think. Hello?
Yes, he's there.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Priyavansa Desapriya. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
You want me to talk?
Do you like to express your idea regarding conference?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah,
Are you okay?
Yes.
Proceed.
Yeah. Actually, this is very important and very good, say, conversation. Only thing, I think there are some like technical issues and there are some say practical problems here and there, and also some of these people, the pronunciations are not very clear, so that we can't clearly hear what they are trying to say. But if they produce a sort of a presentation, then it's, I think, better. Whoever who makes presentation, if they are making a present, say with some say a presentation, then at least from that the word and everything, but the meaning, what they're trying to say, we can understand. But if they're just talking, so it's a bit difficult to understand the pronouncings. In relation to these the world situation, war and peace, actually I'm very concerned about the what we had in Sri Lanka for 30 years and 1971 and 1989, then the 30 years war. All these are very bad experience as a nation, and we don't expect any country to happen this again, even in this country or any other part of the world. As this previous speaker says, actually, when there's a conflict, so all our effort, that positive effort should be to stop it and to not to allow it to spread to the whole world. Maybe some conflicts start with a very small thing, minor matters, but it's continue up to the level of even the world war. So as human, so we have to make a lot of effort to not to entertain any war, any conflict, anywhere in the country, in the world. As a Buddhist, I'm a Buddhist. So according to Lord Buddha, so we can't, we have no right. We have no right to kill another person. We have no right to hit any other person. We have no right to insult any other person. So likewise, so then if the people respect each other, and there can be some conflict and issues and problems, but they can sort out all these issues with negotiation and with some dialogues. So that should be the way to sort out any problem. Maybe say 1,000 years back, maybe 100 years back in the history, there would have been a lot of wars because those days people are uneducated, so they have no way of communications. So they were like not civilized, basically. So then with the present world, we are actually technically, we have a lot of technology and we have many ways of communication. So with this, the facilities, any problem, any other's problem, we should be able to understand that. Even if we don't know the language, but we can like understand the problem with some other language, understand. So my only thing is I, as this world level say conference, the number of participants talking about this peace of the world, limiting to maybe 10-15 people is not really good. Either people are not interested, or maybe not they have not got the opportunity to join this conference. So at least in Sri Lanka, luckily at least now three of us are joining here from Sri Lanka. But out of these other countries in the world, so we need to connect from at least one person from each country. So then only that person can at least talk about their country's situation. So likewise, I think I suggest to increase these numbers, and also yes, we had to discuss. Also, we had to take some actions, at least to write to these maybe to these if there's a war or a conflict, at least as an organization, we should be able to write to those two parties and request them to not to say continue the war, and at least to see all the other alternative ways to stop it. And in fact, as an organization, even we can be the say intermediators for some maybe peace talks or whatever. So likewise, we had to take some actions to avoid those things. Maybe Jammu Kashmir, then these all the other places, these conflicts. We should know who are the two main parties involved. Then I think as official way, we will write to them and we will ask them. We will understand from the both sides their problem, and we have to give them some solution. Then if they feel that our solution is practical and if they're accepting, so we can avoid that and stop that war. So those are not easy things. But we have to study the thing, and from here we don't know what is happening in Jammu Kashmir. So we had to have some link with the Jammu Kashmir people. So they had to tell what is the ground situation there. So they had to tell us who's wrong and who's right, and then always we have to support them. Anyway, so I think this as a guest, I don't want to take any more time. But later on, I will do maybe a presentation, maybe the next one, say about even our countries that now actually we don't have, maybe even any other the countries conflicts. So maybe even any other countries issues. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. So thanks everybody.
Thank you very much for your opinion. Welcome. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Priyanshu, sir. It was really a great job and your personal opinion. And he was saying this because the conference that we are having aims to promote peace all over the world. And I think Dr. Emmanuel has joined the meeting.
Yeah. Just now he again joined the meeting.
Dr. So we have it is Dr. Emmanuel from Malawi.
Hello, Dr. Emmanuel. Dr. Emmanuel, can you
Hello?
hear me? Yeah, now you can.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, you can present your presentation.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ajum. Thank you very much, Dr. Said, for giving me this opportunity. Unfortunately, I'm having a challenge in my network. My network is off and on. But I would like to talk much about the Sudan crisis, whereby we have seen people fighting in Sudan. So I will just have a short talk on that, because we have seen that a lot of people are running away from Sudan. People are being killed. Women have been displaced, and the children, and a lot is happening down there. So I just wanted to say a few things over the crisis. One, I would like us to consider that if some of these crises are being caused by a number of factors. One factor is poverty itself. The poverty is contributing a lot to these crises, to these fightings. Why? Because if we look into the two parties that are fighting each other, if we look into these groups that are fighting each other, we may easily find out that some of the people behind these fightings are benefiting. Some of the people behind these fightings have been promised a lot of money, that if you cause the conflicts, if you cause the fracas, if you do this and this, then we are going to pay you a lot of money, because other people have got their own objectives behind this. So the first thing that we should look into in such fightings is poverty, because people are looking for money. Once someone comes to me and promises me to give me a lot of money just to do something, they are just to cause something, then I'll be ready to get the money. So if we look into some of these issues, then the first thing that we are going to find is that most of these fightings are caused by poverty, because for most of the people that are fighting, behind them, there are other people who are benefiting from such fightings. The second thing is that leadership. Most of the people in many countries are not satisfied with the leadership. So this is another challenge that we have that is also causing a lot of fightings in different countries. Why? Because the other people think that they are better than the leaders. So they think that if we take over the leadership, then we are going to bring back things and then bring peace, and then people will enjoy life. Then we will also promote the economic, so that the country maybe have a stable economy that may help the people from the remote areas. So when people think that they are better than the readers, according to what the readers are doing, then they start some fightings. Why? Because they want to take over the government, because they think that they are better than the readers, so that they have got their own manifestos that they think if we implement such projects, then we are going to make the country grow economically. So one more thing that also we should look into is the leadership. I've already mentioned about the poverty, and now I'm talking about the leadership. That the leadership, sometimes most of the people in the country, if they are not satisfied with the leadership, then they can easily cause such fightings. Why? Because they want to take over. They think they are better than the ones who are running the government. So as the result, they cause such fightings. And these are some of the things that should be looked into in most countries. Most of the countries, we look into those countries in Africa, in Asia, those in America, and in other continents, because poverty has been the main factor that is causing fighting. If there are some killings in many countries, it's due to poverty. People may kill someone who seems has got money just because they want the money. People can also start fighting. Why? Because they want themselves also to get a share from the money of the country. So the other thing, the third one that I would like to say here is corruption. So if you look into corruption in most of the countries, it's only benefiting those people who are in the forefront. Those senior figures in the country are the ones who are benefiting from the corrupt practices that they're doing. So other people are not happy with that, because the money that was intended to be used for developing the country, those people are taking the money and put them in their own pockets. So you can see that the people, those marginalized communities are still suffering. They don't even have the good, they do not even have access to potable water. They don't have the hospitals. They even walk some kilometers, 20 kilometers away just to get a medication. So they do not have the schools. They do not have all those basic necessities. They don't get them. But if they look into those senior figures who are in the government, they find that due to corruption, they are enriching themselves. They have got a lot of money. But if you look into the country, you find that the country is not as poor as we may look into it. Not at all. The country has got some resources. The country has got a lot of resources that can help that particular country to grow. So as the result, because the people are seeing what is happening in their country, that the leaders are so corrupt, and through corruption, they are enriching themselves, and those marginalized communities are still getting poorer and poorer every day. They don't even have food, they don't even have the basics, they don't even have money to send their children to school. So because of these things, people may start fighting each other. And because they are poor, it is easy for them, someone to come and entice them to say, okay, if you start this fighting, I'm going to give you 20 billion, I'm going to give you $20 million. So start fighting, we'll provide you everything. We will provide you some ammunition and the like. So because the person or those guys are poor, those people are poor, then they sit down and see, okay, if they're going to give us 20 million, so we are going to be rich. So they started the fighting. So if you look into most of these fightings that are taking place in many countries, behind these fightings, there are other elephants behind them. Those people who are trying to entice these guys and start the fighting so that the elephants can benefit from that particular country. And what is happening is that some of the resources of that country are being rooted out. The resources of those countries are being rooted out from that particular country in the areas where the fighting is taking place. And you can see that the fighting in most countries is taking place where there are some resources. And when we think about Sudan, one of the largest countries in Africa, it's a country that has been having political instability for a long time. And this time you have seen that al-Bashir was taken out of position. Now, soon after that, we have seen the soldiers taking the government. And we have been expecting that maybe the military will give back the government to the people. But instead of that, we are seeing that there is some conflict taking place there. So what we should be thinking about is that most of these conflicts are taking place because of leadership, because of poverty, because of corruption. These are the main factors that are influencing such fightings. And if we go to Sudan, you find that this time, they're fighting. We may not understand why these people are fighting, and we don't know why this fighting has just erupted there. But we are just suggesting that there may be something that has taken place there. And the unfortunate part is that those people who are causing the fighting because they want to get rich, it's only a few people who get rich through that fighting. But the rest of the people are displaced. The innocent children, the innocent women are running away from their houses. They don't even have the food. They are living on empty stomachs. They are suffering. Their children cannot go to school. They are afraid. They are so much scared. So all those people who are fighting, they need to sit down and find out what's the cause of the fighting. Because some of these people may be fighting, but they don't know why they are fighting. Because it's like a civil war. They are fighting themselves within their own country. We haven't seen enemies coming from outside Sudan fighting the Sudan government. No, the fighting has just erupted among themselves. So they have to sit down and look into the cause of the fighting. Why have we started fighting each other? We are one nation, but we are fighting each other. Why? What's the cause? What's behind the fighting? There must be something that is causing the fighting. So if they look into that more closely, then they will find the cause. They will find the reason why they are fighting. Then they can come up with a solution. They can come up with a resolution easily. But otherwise, if they don't sit down and look into the fighting more closely and see why they are fighting, it will be very, very difficult for them. It will be very hard for them to have the ceasefire, because they don't know why they're fighting. They're just fighting, but they don't know why are we fighting each other, one nation. There is someone behind them maybe who is influencing the fighting. So if they find out that, okay, we are fighting because of this, then they may come up with a solution easily. But if they don't sit down and look into it more closely and scrutinize why they are fighting, it will be hard and it will take long to have a ceasefire. But we as a one nation, we as Africans, we as a global nation, we as a global village, we need to sit down and come up with a ceasefire to end all these fightings, because this is not the time to start fighting. This is the time whereby we need to sit down and see and find out ways how we can fulfill the SDGs. We need to sit down and find ways and means how we can develop our governments, we can develop our countries. We are already suffering from a financial reverse. Most of the countries in Africa, Asia, and many other continents, we are already suffering from a number of crises in terms of financial. Our economy is not stable. It's still going down. It has been hardly hit by COVID-19. And this time, instead of sitting down and start rebuilding ourselves, now we are starting fighting each other, which means that we are still damaging our economy. We don't have time to think how we can develop our economy. We are now thinking of how we can come up with a ceasefire. We are now thinking of how we can feed those people who have been displaced with the war, with the fighting. We as an organization, we are appealing to all those two parties that are fighting in Sudan to come up with a ceasefire, to sit down and scrutinize why they are fighting and what are they fighting for. What is it that they are fighting for? And what has started, what has caused the fighting itself? Where did it started? Why did it erupted in their country? They may find the reason, they may find the cause. Once they find the cause, they may easily come up with the solution because they know the cause. They should not just keep on fighting ignorantly. without knowing why they are fighting and what they are fighting for. We are asking them to sit down as a nation, to sit down as one country, as one nation, and look back and then look forward. Why are we fighting? And what are some of the negative consequences that are being done, that are being caused to their nation, to their people? People are displaced. People are being killed every day. These are things that we should not tolerate at this time, at this moment. This is the time that we should start rebuilding ourselves, rebuilding our economies, sitting down as one country. That's why we are saying that most of these continents, such as Africa, all the countries in Africa, the 54 countries, should sit down and come up with an idea of having one country, as it is in the United States, United Kingdom. I think through uniting these continents, making it coming to one country, one nation, these fightings will not be there, because we'll be one nation in Africa. And those people from outside that are maybe enticing us with money to say, if I give you money, if you do this, I'll give you money, then this cannot happen, because all the resources will be for the United States of Africa, not for a particular country. So Sudan, please, we appeal to you, the fighting parties, that sit down, find a solution, find out why you are fighting. What's the reason behind this? What are you fighting for? You are one nation. You are killing each other. This is not building. This is destroying. Please, as an organization, we are appealing that these two fighting parties should sit down and find out why they are fighting. Thank you very much, Dr. Jum. Thank you very much, Dr. Saidi, for giving me this rare opportunity to give my suggestion and my opinion on Sudan fighting. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Emmanuel.
Yes, thank you.
Now,
Thank you.
yeah, dear, now we can over our program,
Yes.
our conference. I wish to thank you all. We should ask Dr. George, Mr. George, do you want to
Yes, I want to
come
add
with
something.
any idea?
Yes, I want
Yeah.
to share something. I want to add to what Dr. Emmanuel said. You see, most of the leaders now don't serve anymore. Back then, we had people who come to serve and to relieve people of their suffering. You see, but most leaders do not serve anymore. It is mainly for personal gain and then enriching themselves at the expense of the masses. Now, I think that countries must begin to revise their constitution to prevent leaders from taking advantage of their citizens. You know, there's a saying that absolute power corrupts absolutely. So there should be some checkers for the presidents or the leaders, so that they cannot use their power. It will restrict them a little, so that they cannot have absolute power over the people. Because some of these things, when unchecked, leads to various behaviors being exhibited by leaders, and at the end of the day, it's the people who suffer. The country must have a plan that every leader follows through. For instance, if you say the first government will come and build a dam, or the first government will come and build factories, the constitution should make sure that the government comes to make that dream or that project possible, so that the people are relieved of their sufferings. Because most of these problems are poverty-driven. So if the people are suffering, they'll have funny ideas. as Dr. Emmanuel said, and they are easily enticed by people to cause war and other conflicts. And also, I think that one person also made a point that you see, we should have right education at a basic level, where from an infant level, people are taught about conflict resolutions and all those things. Because it's the bullies in school, the people who were bullies at school, they grow up to become bullies on a global scale. So all these things should be checked in schools, so that we're able to refine the children to become, because they are the future leaders, so that they'll become more responsible. So that's what I wanted to add to what Dr. Emmanuel said. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dr. George. Dr. Emmanuel. Hello.
Yeah, yes, I can hear you.
Hello, Dr. Emmanuel. Are you there? Are you there?
Yes.
Yeah. You are our coordinator of elderly children and elderly persons coordinator and a board member of board meeting too. So therefore, you can thank to our guests and speakers. This is time for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Said, for giving me this second opportunity. Thank you, Dr. Jum, for a very good job done. I wanted to say that in the world, globally, those people who are suffering the most are the children and the elderly. These are the people who are suffering the most from the wars, from the fightings, from the human rights abuse, and many other things are happening to these groups of people. The two groups of people, the children and the elderly, including the women, they are suffering a lot all over the world. Why? Because these children are not able to run away from war. These children cannot make their own decision. These children cannot fight for their food. These children cannot walk long distances running away from war. And even the elderly, they are very weak. They cannot run away from war. They are the most who are being killed in such fightings. They are the most that are their rights are being abused, violated all over the world, including the women. Their rights are being violated all over the world. Our mothers are being abused in many ways all over the world. What I would like to say here is that let's stop fighting in any other way. Let's stop abusing the rights of the children, of the elderly, and even of that of women. Why? Because the children themselves, they are the future nations. Once they have been affected by the war, once they have been affected by the fighting, what is going to happen is that they are not going to attend their schools. They are not going to be educated. So our next generation will be there will be a generation that didn't go to school. The other thing that we should also consider is that most of these fightings that are taking place are due to ignorance, because people don't know why they are fighting. People don't know why are we fighting and what are we fighting for. Someone, a single person, an individual has got a different idea and he entices a number of people so that they can make an uprising. They can start fighting. Sometimes it's because of the race, it's the difference in races. Some of the ethnic groups, they fight each other. So we have got these problems and many others that are affecting our children. So the time we are fighting, the time we are abusing their rights, we should remember that these are the future generation. And for the global development, we need them because they are the ones who will be the leaders, who will be the next leaders for all these countries that we are coming from, where we are coming from. All these countries, they will be ready by these children who are children today. We may call them children today, but tomorrow we are going to call them leaders. So we need to create an environment where these future leaders can go to school, can enjoy their rights. They can exercise their rights and benefit from the education that is being provided in many countries. If they miss education today, we should expect that in the next generation, there will be more fighting than the one that we are seeing today. Why? Because it will be full of ignorant people. It will be full of people who didn't go to school. It will be full of people who cannot make right decisions, informed decisions. Now, when we look into the elderlies, these are the people who are still accommodating a lot of knowledge, the past knowledge, the history is in their hands. They are the ones who can tell us what has been happening in the past. They can easily compare the past and the present. Once they compare the past and the present, it can give us the knowledge that we are not on the right track as a country. Globally, we are not on the right track because as the elders are telling us, they say that in the past, things were not like the way we are doing now. So because the things are going astray, things are not going, they're not happening in the way that used to be. Now, we can learn from them. They are full of knowledge. They are banks of skills. They are banks of knowledge. They can teach us what to do, even though they didn't go to school. But as long as they are so older than ourselves, they are lecturers for us. They can teach us a lot. They are our parents. They are our grandmas and our grandpas. They store a lot of knowledge that once they share the knowledge to us, then we can be good citizens. We can stop fighting. We can stop abusing the rights. We can stop having breaking of the marriages. We can stop abusing the children. We can stop the raping of children. We can stop the things that are taking place, the fighting that are just taking place without reason. So I would like to appeal globally to all the countries the world over that let us consider the children before we start the fighting. Let us consider the elderly before we start the fighting. Let us respect the rights of the children. Let us respect the rights of the elderly. Let us respect the rights of the women. They are our mothers. Today we are commemorating the Mother's Day all over the world. Let's respect them. Without them, we would not have been here. We would not have been talking of rights today. I would not have been here without my mother. She played a great role to make sure that I grow up the way I am. So we have to respect every mother. We have to respect every woman. We have to respect every girl. We have to respect every child. We have to respect every elderly person. They are a potential to the world over. Without them, we would not have been here. Without them, the world will not be there tomorrow. Why? Because the leadership is in their hands. The leadership of tomorrow is in the hands of the children. Let us make sure that we nurture them. We create an environment where they can grow well. We create an environment where they can get the food. Once they don't have enough of the food, that means even their brain will lack a lot of things to make sure that they can think intelligently. If the child is going on an empty stomach to school, the child will not learn, will not grab the skills that the teacher is sharing to them. If the child has got trauma, is undergoing trauma, then the child may not understand what the teacher is telling, what the teacher is teaching, what is he being trained in. Because most of these are suffering emotionally. Some of them have undergone trauma, have been raped by even their own fathers, their own biological fathers, have been raping the young girls in their families. This must stop. We must for sure stop these tendencies because we are destroying the next generation. And I'm appealing to the governments that all those people who are violating the rights of the children, they must be brought to book. They must be taken to court. They must face the arm of the law. Our children must be protected. We have got the responsibility to protect them. We have got the responsibility to protect our elderly people. We should not violate their rights. They should not be killed because we suspect them to be the witch. In my country, Malawi, the elderly are being killed. Why? Because someone suspected them to be to have bewitched someone who has died. They think that, oh, this one has been bewitched by the elderly person in their family. They go there and kill the elderly person. Does it mean that every elderly person is a witch? Is it true? Does it mean that all of us, when we grow old, we will become witches? That doesn't make sense. We have got a responsibility to take care of our grandfathers and our grandmothers. The responsibility is in our hands. For us to grow the way we are, it's because they took the responsibility. They had the responsibility over our growth. They took the responsibility of our growth. That's why we grew up and we are here. And now, if we don't take responsibility, taking care of them, what did we think? Are we insane? Are we thinking normally? I don't think so. Everyone who can think normally, everyone who can think very well will take care of any elderly person, because that elderly person had a responsibility over everyone who is here today. Now, we have also to take a responsibility of our children. We have to protect them from any harm, any harassment, sexual harassment, abuse, sexual abuse, and many other things, child trafficking, and many other things that are happening. We need to join hands as a global community to take care of our children, to protect them, to make sure that they are living in an environment that is conducive to them, that can enable them to go to school, that can enable them to learn clearly, that can enable them to grow well. We have got that responsibility because our parents took the responsibility. That's why we grew up. That's why we went to school. That's why today we are here. So as an organization, my appeal as a coordinator, a global coordinator of the rights of children and the elderly, I appeal to all the governments of the world to take care of the elderly, to protect them, because they would not have been leaders today without the parents that took care of them, to take care of the children so that we think of the future, because they're the ones who will take care of us in the future when we grow old. So we have to take care of them today, protect them, stop traffic, stop children, the children trafficking, stop children sexual abuse, sexual harassment to children. This is my appeal to all the governments of the world, that we should join hands to stop fighting, to stop wars that are affecting much the children and the elderly, to take to book all those people who are harassing the children, those people who are sexually abusing the children, those people who are involved in child trafficking. Governments should come up with strict measures against such behaviors so that our children grow well. Our elderly people enjoy their lives as they grow old. Thank you very much, Dr. Ajum. Thank you very much, Dr. Said, for giving me this opportunity to talk to the global community about the rights of children and the rights of the elderly. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Emmanuel.
Thank you.
Okay, now, thank you, all of you. Thank you, dear participants, all speakers and our guest, and especially I wish to thank to our IDYM group of company and the page 3 new of and global nation paper also. I wish to thank to them because they those institutions are help for us for our works. Otherwise, today our chief guest was absent. I think he is facing some trouble. Two speakers also one of the from Libya, other one is from Italy. The Italy one is was informed me, but Libya I don't know why he is absent. Other all participants are other all speakers are participated. Thank you for all them. Otherwise, I wish to special thank to Mr. Priyamansu Desapriya as a guest. One of the Indian Miss Arjun. She was participated as a guest now, but now I can't see her. I wish to thank to her also. Okay, have a nice and wonderful day to you all. Thank you very much. Especially I forget to tell. Especially I wish to thank to Mr. Dr. Anjum Quraisi. She is very helpful for us. Today she is doing her presentation very nice. Really, I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Dr. Anjum Quraisi. Dr. Emmanuel, thank you very much. Mr. Bar, our Chief President, Deputy President, Mr. Buraki, I wish to thank you. You are working as a host. You are a silence worker. Thank you very much to all of you. Mr. George, thank you very much. So to all the designated are participating in the Supreme Conference today, including the all chief guests also. All type of host to all the assistance supporting institutions, IDYM, SLBC, and page 3 and the Global Nation paper also. So, who helped to make this event to the success. Our expert, we offer thanks to the thanks and greetings to you all. Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a nice and wonderful day.
Thank you. We can enter the meeting now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
IDF Group Company, thank you very much.